Hey there, and welcome to Echoes of Age. This is the place where we talk real stuff about getting older, in a way that helps you feel stronger, stay sharper, and live better every single day. We're diving into the things no one really talks about when it comes to aging, but should. Let's jump in, Ted.
We often imagine death as sudden, as a fall, a final breath, or a fading heartbeat. But death doesn't always knock loudly. Sometimes, it whispers. Over my 30 years working in elder care, I've learned something that books rarely teach, and even fewer want to talk about. The body begins to release life long before the final moment arrives. And if you know how to listen, you'll realize they've been saying goodbye for a while. Not to scare you, but to invite you in, to be present. In this video, I'll share 5 deeply human signs the elderly often show, sometimes months, even a year, before they pass. This isn't about diagnosing. It's about recognizing, so that we don't miss the final chance to love, to listen, to say the things that should be said. Because when we ignore the quiet signs, we miss the opportunity to walk with someone through the most sacred part of life, the end of it. Please like this video and subscribe if you value life lessons rooted in real stories and seasoned wisdom. Let's begin. It often begins with language. Not confusion. Not dementia. But a shift in what they choose to talk about. I once cared for Ms. Helen, a former school principal who used to speak passionately about politics and literature. One afternoon, she sat quietly and said, "Do you ever think about the house you grew up in?" We spoke about swing sets, backyard trees, and the smell of her mother's apple pie. She didn't talk about current events anymore. She talked about beginnings. This is a quiet return to origin. A sign the mind is revisiting its roots, preparing to let go of the present. What you can do: lean in. Let them lead the conversation. Ask, what do you remember most about your childhood? You might be surprised what surfaces. It's not just physical stillness, it's an emotional one. No more rushing. No more planning. I remember Mr. Allen, 92, who used to keep a daily planner, even in the nursing home. One day, he closed it and said, "I think I've done enough scheduling in my life." He stopped trying to manage time. Instead, he just sat near the window, watching birds come and go. This wasn't laziness. It wasn't sadness. It was acceptance. A stillness of the spirit that comes when the urgency of life fades. What you can do: sit with them. No agenda. Just be there. Sometimes, your silent presence is the greatest gift. This one often goes unnoticed. I've seen elders start giving away treasured items with no explanation. Mrs. Lynn, a retired piano teacher, asked her granddaughter one day, "Do you want my sheet music? I won't be needing it." There was no illness at the time. No hospital visits. Just a quiet instinct. Giving things away is sometimes the soul's way of clearing space. It's not about materialism, it's about emotional closure. What you can do: honor their instinct. Don't argue. Ask the story behind the object. Because each farewell is also a memory waiting to be told. I've seen patients stop caring about the clock. Lunch at noon? Maybe. Day or night? Doesn't matter. Mr. Peters once asked me, "Is it Monday or Sunday?" And when I told him, he smiled and said, "Oh, that doesn't matter anymore, does it?" To him, time had softened. When death is near, the structure of time can fade. Days blur. Hours stretch or vanish. This isn't confusion, it's a release of the need to control time. What you can do: don't correct them with force. Flow with their rhythm. Let moments unfold without rushing. Because in the end, it's not about the schedule. It's about the presence. This is perhaps the most mysterious, and most beautiful, sign. They begin to mention people who are no longer here. Not with fear. but with familiarity. I remember Mr. Raymond, a soft-spoken carpenter, who looked toward the door one morning and whispered, "Dad's here. He looks young again." His father had passed decades earlier. But Raymond's voice wasn't frightened. It was warm. Certain. And within the week, he was gone. I've heard this countless times. Whispers. Smiles. Even laughter with someone the rest of us can't see. Call it a dream. Call it spiritual. But don't dismiss it. What you can do. Don't say, "They're not here." Instead, say, "Tell me about them." These moments may be the beginning of their goodbye. Let it be gentle. Let me share a story that has stayed with me for years. Mrs. N had 5 children, 12 grandchildren, and a closet full of patchwork quilts she'd made by hand over decades. When she sensed her time was near, she quietly began wrapping each quilt, one by one, and writing names on sticky notes. She called me in and said, "These are my stories, Doctor. I stitched our life into every square. When I'm not here to tell them, they'll still feel my warmth." She passed the next week. At her memorial, every guest had a piece of her in their arms. Not just fabric. Memory. If someone you love is showing any of these signs, don't panic. Don't rush to fix. Just be with them. Hold their hand. Ask the questions. Say what you need to say. Because dying is not the opposite of living. It's the final chapter. And every chapter deserves to be read fully. If this video moved you, please like it, subscribe, and share it with someone who may need this reminder. Because wisdom isn't just about living well. It's also about knowing how to say goodbye, with grace, with love, and with presence.